seeing if that fixes it. YouTube, you guys should be back. Let me check Twitter. I don't even need to check Kick because Kick is always having issues. Yeah, I think Twitter's fine. I don't see. Yeah, Twitter's completely fine. So, did I okay, chat. I gotta say this. The fact that Twitter has been the one that has stayed up when every other streaming source goes down tells me that Twitter has figured something else out about live streaming that the major conglomerates have not. And I don't know what that is, but I would kill for that level of connectivity on some of my main platforms. Did you get some shadow update on your end? No, I mean, like, again, as far as I could tell, I never lost internet connection, but maybe like something with the upload had an issue. So, but anyways, yes, you won't be able to hear me if you haven't, but refresh stream. So that's all I can really tell people to do. And sorry about that. But yeah, it's like, as far as I could tell, it was not on my end, but it may have had an actual hiccup somehow. Someone in chat was asking, like, is she familiar with Fate? Yes, she is. That's like hilariously was like one of the first things that we talked about when we started talking. But yeah, it's like I don't think she's like super like big Fate fan. She's just watched some of the Fate stuff, and that's fine. I like chat. Even just having somebody that like watches anime alone is nice. That's all I can say. Any Guda units you personally want buffed? No, you missed that discussion earlier. I mean, I think there's several that could get buffs at this point. Like, chat, let me put it to you this way. Can you guys name me a Guda unit that shouldn't get buffed? Yeah, I think like Lancer Ryoma and maybe like Mao Nobu and maybe Kenshin and maybe maybe Takeda Shingen. But like, I mean, I feel like anybody that I didn't mention there, it doesn't mean they're necessarily like in dire need of one or that like, you know, like they should get like some super strong buff. But it's like I could see anybody not that I didn't list right there could get a buff, and it wouldn't be like the worst thing in the world, depending on what was buffed. Nobukatsu, give that man a 100% battery lore. Perhaps. Nice. KSK could be saved with the buff I mentioned earlier. I think the buff you mentioned earlier got drowned out, unfortunately. We'll start watching Fate together this weekend. Yeah, I mean, I probably should do something like that with her. I think like the issue that we have right now is that we're both working class adults, and so time is a little bit of a commodity. So at this point, I'm very much of the opinion of like any time that I can actually spend with her is quality time, regardless of what we're doing. Nice art, cool style. I did really like this piece when I saw it. Okay, so I could do the Wandjina event, but it's not quite 8 o'clock yet. But I'm about to get even more stuff here, but I'm basically on my main account. I'm basically done with Wandjina. It's the alt account that needs some love. That is where we will focus today. Today's going to be kind of a chill day. We're going to be doing some variety today. I figured, and chat, you guys could tell me if I'm wrong, but I definitely see the dip whenever I start streaming the like new player account. So you'd have to tell me, like, are people just not interested in the new player account stuff now? I think there are new players that are, and so like that kind of makes me want to keep going with it. But I also just recognize the fact that I think some people just don't give a rat's ass about it. Are you guys official? Yeah, as far as I can tell. 20% party charge plus 30% to Shinsen Gumi. It's a bit OP. I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not sure that would necessarily even still make people take Keisuke. Like, that would at least make people consider him. But it is what it is. I appreciate the new player content. Nice. Like I said, it's not that, like, people don't like it. I've just noticed that, like, there's definitely a contingent of people that just go like, oh, he's doing that again. I don't care. I actually like seeing older Lost Belt fights, well, the non-mob ones at least. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the problem, is you can't skip the other ones, so I try to make them as fast as possible. Chat's wondering, is the new player account meant to be a permanent account or just a one-off thing? I haven't really decided what to do with it in the end. I may give it to chat in the end if I don't want to maintain it, because I think, like, and I'm dead serious when I say this, I think, like, long-term maintaining 3 accounts is too much. I've committed to it in the short term here, and I've done a really good job of maintaining it, but I don't know that it's the best solution for me long term. Does this mean you've achieved your New Year's resolution? Yes. I have actually this year achieved like my past 3 New Year's resolutions. So there is that. And it's funny because I didn't like think about any of that when I was doing it. The whole reason I made those New Year's resolutions is because I wanted to do those things. And so, like, I finally just pushed myself to do them. And I say that, right? Like, getting a girlfriend, chat, is not it's something I've been wanting to do for a while, but it's not just like go out and get a girlfriend, right? Like, you have to find someone that you get along with, and that's, I feel like now more than ever it's actually harder than it ever has been to do something like that. It's not that you can't find someone, it's finding the right fit, I think, is hard. Finding someone that you feel like could potentially be someone that you'd spend the rest of your life with and stuff like that, I think that's hard. And you don't know that stuff at first anyways. It's like you just have to hope that you gel well enough on a level that there is potential. But I think something like that in like our modern society is getting a little bit difficult nowadays. And especially, I'm going to say this, like, for the nerdy online crowd, I think one of the best things you guys can do is actually just don't do what I did. Don't just sit at home all day. Like, go out and do stuff. Go find other nerds out there. Go find people that are into anime, into video games, into your interests, and do stuff on location with them. And I feel like that's the better way to maybe potentially meet someone that you would be interested in. I mean, most likely there are more vets than new people for FG. Oh, there definitely is, right? Like, I'm aware of that. And I'll say this: I think the meta state of the game doesn't really help itself right now either. The game is really fun. The game still has a ton of content, and it's absolutely a blast for new people to play and join. But I do feel like because it is a 10-year-old game, there are a contingent of people that will just never look its way, right? FGO global advertising pretty much doesn't exist. Yes, and I've said this before, and this is no insult towards anybody at Aniplex that actually works in the marketing department, but the whole Aniplex of America marketing department should be fired. It's atrocious. They only advertise at actual conventions and nowhere else. I'm sorry. It's just like anime is surging right now in the West. It is more popular than it ever has been. And you are doing nothing to help it. That's such a miss, like from a marketing standpoint. Can I ask you one question? If FGO closes down, what will you plan to do for your channel? That I don't know. I mean, I've had plenty of time to think about stuff like that, but it's like I don't want to commit to anything right now in that regard because one, my life is currently at least going through transitionary like stages, and two, I don't have anything that I enjoy as much as FGO right now. There's nothing that makes me want to be like, ooh, I want to stream this like day in and day out. Like, there's plenty of games I play on the side, but there's nothing that I want to like be as hyper fixated on. I'm sure people don't want to end our relationship here. Yeah, no, that's fine. And honest to God, if I ever do, excuse me, if I ever do move on, transition, do something else, my hope would be that you guys at least give it a chance. Yeah, I'm not gonna say that like everybody has to like hook, line, and sinker watch me 24/7 type of stuff. You guys know I've always been that way. I've always like just kind of hope that you guys watch me in my endeavors and anything that I do, like even when I'm playing variety. And I'm always appreciative when people show up. I know people don't have to. People have busy lives themselves. People have other interests and things that they want to do. So the fact that people take the time out of their busy schedules to actually like tune in is awesome to me. But yeah, it's like all I can really ask is that people give it a chance. And it's like if people don't like it, it is what it is. I can't like, let's say I were to be like, oh, now I'm gonna go stream like shooters or something like that, and it's like, well, if you don't like shooting games, you're not gonna want to watch me permanently or anything like that. But you can definitely come chill, hang out, and I've told people before, it's like you can still talk FGO with me when I'm doing variety, and in the same vein, you can talk just about anything with me if I'm doing anything else. I don't really care. I'm not somebody that like gets bit out of shape from people getting off topic. I think, and you guys know, it's like obviously we have stream rules, but the stream rules are more there for like reasons of like, you know, like no politics, for instance. It's like we have definitely talked things that are politically adjacent in the channel, and politics have come up once or twice. I don't like talking about it because I recognize that both sides watch me, and there's no real benefit to like getting into that sort of thing, because I feel like people aren't here for anything like that. They are here for an escape from the day-to-day lives. And the worst politics that I'll do on this channel are always going to be like things that deal with video games. And less so about the political side of it, but more so about like, at least how I personally feel that like the video game industry should be conducting itself, right? And that's usually the worst thing you'll get out of me. Twitch recommended a Metal Gear Solid stream to me, and I only watch it when you play. Thank you. Nobody should be talking about politics with how chaotic they are currently. I mean, like, there's places for that, right? And that's my stance has always been that this is not one of those places. So usually when people get really bent out of shape and they're like, oh, you're just trying to like silence us, or you're just trying to like favor one side or the other, I'm like, no, don't get me wrong. I just feel like if you want to go discuss that stuff, there's plenty of places you can go, and this place is not one of them. So it's like, again, I just recognize that people don't want to have to deal with that because they get enough of that in their daily lives already. I'm waiting for Cad's political breakdown of the Kingdom of Camelot under the various kings. I see. Did Twitch remove watch streaks? I can't seem to see it now. Did you miss a stream? I'm just kidding. I mean, and you might have, like, accidentally, but it is what it is. Everybody's got to miss one, except Jay, apparently, who somehow has managed to keep that streak for an ungodly amount of time, I believe. Okay, so that was technically both servers. Because at this point, well, like 15 minutes. I'll make one blue apple, so that way I'll have enough for the other storm pods when they pop right here at 8. Oh, also I need to do my daily story pull. But yeah, I think, like, I don't know what will happen with FGO in the future. I'm just going to be, like, honest with you guys. I believe the game will go on. But there's definitely, like, some troubling signs, at least to me as a content creator, for, like, how I see the community conducting itself, how I see people treating the game that are part of the community, and how I, you know, see, like, general enthusiasm for the game, right? So, don't get me wrong. This is something I've been thinking about for years. Because the signs have been there for years that, like, not everything is hunky-dory, right? So I'm somebody that likes to, like, really analyze stuff. I'm somebody that likes to look at things from all angles. So yeah, I'm naturally going to notice stuff like that if things are not trending well. But I just have at least committed, at least mentally, to myself that, like, I will continue to stream FGO at least through the end of the year. I don't see any reason to stop, because we know there's content through the end of the year. After that, I think things are way more up in the air. But my hope is that by the time we finish part 2 on JP, that we get very quickly an answer. Similar to how, like, when part 1 finished, we immediately got, like, Epic of Remnant. And how when Epic of Remnant finished, we immediately got the part 2 prologue. I'm hoping that, like, now at this point, if Ordeal Call finishes, that we get immediately, like, a part 3 prologue or something. And if we don't, that will be a very troubling sign to me. So that's something where it's like, I'm hoping that will be the case. If we don't, I'm not really sure how I'll take it. I'm not sure what will happen. I'm not sure what the future will be. And that is just kind of the limbo that we're stuck in. And unfortunately, I believe that limbo is having negative repercussions. Like, it is causing some people to think that, like, FGO is going to end. And there is no guarantee that it does. In fact, signs would point to the polar opposite. I would bet a lot of money that FGO will not end and that FGO's story will continue. But I can't say conclusively that that's going to be the case. And so, at least with how I am, I'm somebody that I will not try to claim something is going to happen if I'm not 100% positive, right? I'll mention it. I'll say, like, hey, this is a possibility, but I will never say it as if it's fact. Maybe it's the Twitch app breaking again? Wait, did you guys lose me? Is stream fine? Because you guys have me questioning. Nasu should just not have doomed so much, to be honest. He needs to get a metaphorical smack for it. I mean, he could get a physical smack for that. I don't care. But, like, I think it is what it is. It's just, like, I'm not going to, like, encourage violence. I'm just saying, like, yeah, Nasu's handled this poorly. I blinked out for a minute? Okay. So many other Fate projects take forever. FGO is basically keeping the franchise relevant most days. Yeah. It's been super obvious to me that like all of the shit that's been thrown FGO's way is so like misaligned in the sense that it like FGO gets blamed for all of Nasu's problems, including by Nasu himself. And I think that is such a actual travesty because I think we all know that that is not the case, right? Hold on, chat. Stream been fine on my end. Nice. If FGO ends, Nasu loses his scapegoat. Absolutely true. Like, however, and let's be clear here, Chad. I think there are two possibilities for the future of FGO. Possibility number one is that FGO just sort of continues as is. Okay? Like we get part 3, sorry, that looks like a B. We get like part 3 and you know everything is just kind of more of the same. But you know like maybe a little bit different, right? But more of the same. Possibility number 2 is that FGO proper ends and what you end up with is an after story. How do we know this? Nasu himself has basically alluded to this, and it is something that Nasu has done with his other visual novels. So it's not that it would abruptly end, but content would probably start to go like down, at least like story content, right? So I think these are the only two possibilities. I would say we are actually trending, despite Nasu's comments in the article, we are actually trending towards this, towards option number 1. And the reason I believe that we actually are is because the devs have already shown signs of continuance. So allow me, chat. 1, during the Nasu Takeuchi 10th Annie interview, Takeuchi kind of let it out of the bag because Nasu said like, oh, the completion rate of the final story is what will determine if we do more. And then not like so that's Nasu saying that. Takeuchi kind of like chipped in though at the end and was like, yeah, but we'll probably have to figure it out beforehand. So we'll probably look at like how many people are ready to do or like how many people completed the 4th singularity. Sorry, the 4th ordeal call, right? So 4th OC clear rate is, I think, the actual like determinant. And I think they already know. I think they've known this for a while. I think they've pretty much known since Ordeal Call 4 came out. How do I know that that is really good? The stated Olga clear rates are actually like really solid. What do I mean? Apparently 25% of all like I guess active players on JP have cleared all Olga fights. Those are the hardest content in the game. Those are things that I think a lot of people just wouldn't otherwise care about. If 25% of the people have cleared all the Olga fights, you can bet their bottom dollar that at least 25% of people have cleared Ordeal Call 4. And it is probably something like 50%. It's probably a lot higher. So I think the Ordeal Call 4 clear rate's there. They know that. And I think they're just like, man, okay. At least, like, I think Type Moon is going, man, okay. I think Lasengal is going, yes! Like, behind the scenes. Because you guys got to remember, if Nasu does effectively kill off the game, who's out of a job? Nasu will continue to work. All of Lasengal pretty much gets shit canned unless he continues to use them on some other project. So they want the game to continue on. They have a vested interest in FGO continuing. They do not want it to end. That's why I think the devs have been trying to do everything in their power to encourage us to complete story, to get caught up, and then finally did things like, oh, here's 1,000 Saint Courts to do it. So they basically just bribed everyone, and they're absolutely right. I think it worked, and it's going to be a thing. So because of this, and we also know, by the way, chat, that 15% of people, I believe, have not cleared even one Olga fight. So this leads me to believe that more have cleared all of them than haven't even cleared one of them. That does mean, however, though, that 60% of people are in some state of clearing the Olga fights. So they may have cleared one, they may have cleared two, three, or, you know, like they're working on the fourth, but they haven't actually cleared the fourth one. So it's a really, like, interesting thing, but this also tells me that this is a lot of, like, active players. This means that JP's activity rate is stellar, especially probably compared to NA. JP's actual active player base does play the game and are relatively caught up. So the fact that only 15% of the player base is not is a good thing. Now, then there's the third thing, chat. I don't want to get too spoilery here, but the actual Noah event, okay, so not the grand duel, but basically the actual story that they put out. A future is talked about. I'm trying to be as vague as possible here. Because of the existence of that future, you can almost read into it as if there will be a future for the game beyond part 2. Okay? So it tells me there is a development and that they are prepping it. Because if they did not, that would be one of the warning signs that I would look for, chat. So how do I tell if a game or really any narrative story is going to go on? You guys know I'm really good at predicting stories a lot of the times. I pay a lot of attention to this stuff. How do you know if a narrative is ending versus continuing? Let's use One Piece as an example. Currently, One Piece is ending. It's headed towards its end. How do we know this? They are not increasing the world anymore. They're not adding to it. Sorry, chat. Ongoing conversation. Just give me 1 second. Okay, so again, back to this conversation here. One Piece is basically ending. It's wrapping up. Things are coming to a head. Okay, using One Piece again, when they got to the Grand Line and the world opened up, that's how you knew One Piece was going to continue for a long time. World building and plot progression and character progression are essential things that you have to look at to determine whether or not a story is going to continue. So naturally, Nasu is still bringing everything to a head for the conclusion of part 2. But one of those lines there was like the Noah event. And that event seemed to build in something that went past. That is a good sign. That means we have created a possibility beyond what appears to be the conclusion right here. So, if this is your actual endpoint, why would you create something for beyond that if you actually were going to end here? So I think that's what they're doing, is they are creating basically a potential future plot line to allow themselves to move into that. Because I think, at least to one degree, Nasu wants the current narrative to end. And that's fine. There's no issue with ending, a story arc, say, for instance, and then starting a new one. I think that's perfectly A-okay. But that's what you kind of see happening here, is that there is a possibility for beyond this. So that's why, again, looking at this, we don't see that everything is ending. We are still getting a Valentine's as well beyond this. We are getting a missing unit as well beyond this. And Nasu himself has at least said, at bare minimum, he's not going to just drop it like and try to think of a good analogy here, like a bad habit, right? And end things, that there would at least be some sort of after story. So even Nasu himself is committing to a potential future for the game. Like I said, the only question is what future it is. And I am currently led to believe it is that first option, which is that there will eventually be a proper part 3. The question is, do we get the part 3 right away? Right? They delayed that unit because they got behind schedule? No, they did not. And it was not because they got behind schedule. They delayed that unit because they were originally intending Olga to come out either with or after the finale, and they decided against it, and they actually put Olga up at Annie 10. So because of that, they had to bump the Annie 10 unit, presumably, to Valentine's afterwards. So it's not due to procedural delay necessarily. I mean, you could argue maybe they could have found some time to fit it in, but they are just concerned more with the part 2 conclusion. So therein lied the issue. Hold on, chat. Card shuffle plus swap equals strong boost. Yes. Elo, thank you for the 58. Appreciate it, my man. Oh my god, old ass song. Oh, you're gonna hear a lot of old ass songs on this channel. That's all I'm gonna say. If part 3 is a big story change, I could see them taking some time before starting. My current guess is you will get the part 2 conclusion. This will go right into New Year's, shortly after New Year's, or like the day of. So like either January 1st or like maybe like as late as the 3rd. You will probably get a prologue. Okay? That prologue will then be preceded by at least 6 months of dead time. So I'm wagering by like maybe June of 26, you might finally get like a first potential chapter for like part 3. But I don't think it's going to be earlier than that. So I do believe there is going to be quite a bit of dead time in that regard, but I don't think it's necessarily going to be I don't think it's necessarily going to be like bad, right? Like it's just they probably do need some time. That's a believable timeline. I know it is. I've talked with many people about this one already. This is my gut feeling for what I think is going to happen. But we'll see, right? Like I can be wrong about these things because I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. But that's what I earnestly believe will happen. Oda says 5 more years every 5 years. Yeah, no. The whole reason why I say like One Piece is ending is because they are at least in like the quote unquote like final arc, I believe he has said. But obviously it's, you know, a thing. Yeah, it's got to go like that. And then that. Sorry, this composition is wonky to me still. Kind of hope we get a soft reset in terms of characters if we get in part 3. I don't mind having the MC still, but yes, I would hope that like narratively they do something different, right? Like for a nice change of pace. I think a part 3, and I've been saying this for years. A part 3 is potentially a clean slate. Like I'm not saying you have to get rid of everything, but it's like your chance to, if there's something you want to reset as a developer, you can do that. That's the only time you're going to get to do that is towards the beginning, not like years later, neck deep into something, right? Do you think a part two finale will give us Mash's last two NP levels? Yeah, probably. I think Mash. I think everything with Mash will be complete at this part. I don't think that necessarily means that Mash will die, but I do think that that means that she will at least be like dead, right? How about if they end FGO and start FGO 2? So I wish. But the problem with this sort of thing is, and I've said this to people before, is like, I cannot imagine they allow you to carry your account over. You know what? You know what, chat? Tell you what. What if they do an FGO2 in a new engine and they say, fine, you can carry everything over. If. That includes Epic of Remnant and every main interlude. That's so easy. Yeah. I think what that would do, and I'm dead serious, I think that would get a butt ton of people to return to the game. I actually think that would make people be like, oh, fuck, I got to get back into FGO. So that would be like one of the smartest things they could do. The problem that I see is this definitely, if they do something like this definitely hamstrings FGO2 for money. In that regard. Olga would need to be made easier because it's a pain in the ass to complete. I could hear it maybe on like Olga 3, right? But yeah, I think a little bit like it would force people to actually like have to play the game, right? Like, and it would not be an easy requirement. I think there would be a ton of, hey, I have to get through this type of situations. For me, unless they really improve on the current game, I'm not starting over. That's I think the problem they would have is in order to make an FGO2 flourish, it needs to probably change some stuff. Um and I don't know, right? Like I think obviously there'd be people that'd be really excited, myself included. But I think there would also just be like a ton of people that would be very wary because of the reputation that FGO currently has. Um, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, but I think at the end of the day, this is why I've always been pretty skeptical of an FGO2. I think an FGO2 actually, like business wise, makes the most sense. But you guys got to understand that Fate in general is not run by business people. It is run by Type Moon, and Nasu is anything but a business person. Nasu is a writer through and through, and Nasu will always put priority on that. So that's where things get limited and are what they are. We had a different cast in our hands, yeah. If they make FGO2 without transfer, the game is dead. I think there'd be a lot of people that would say that, but I do think if they made a really strong, attractive game, that people, hilariously enough, would probably still do it. I'm not gonna like call chat a liar. I'm just going to say that I don't know, like my human intuition is that things would be that way. I would not care. Games with full VAs are good. The characters shiny even more. Shine even more. Yeah. I like. I totally respect that people would not want to start over. I think I myself would have to like really come to grips with that with how much work I've put into FGO. Um, but I could also think that like having a new beginning, having fresh life in the game would probably potentially be a good thing. That being said, I think you also have to be very careful with how you would implement a second version because like and so don't take this the wrong way, Chad, if you're one of these people, but for instance, I don't believe that like Girls Frontline 2 is doing very well. I think it started out strong. I think now down the stretch it's not doing so hot because I don't think it's being managed well. And I think that ultimately is the number one issue that every gotcha game faces. So I'm using it just as an example, not as like a slight against Girls Frontline 2, but that is kind of what I've heard. And so like I think there's always that problem. It's the same thing like if you guys want to like to use a non-gotcha example, it's like if you guys remember the whole debacle with like Overwatch 2 and how like Overwatch 2 basically died until Marvel Rivals came out and then Overwatch 2 was finally like shit, we got to get our ass in gear. And so now Overwatch 2 I think is doing better, but only because they had competition. So there's always going to be that risk that, oh, okay, well, we hit the reset button, we do it all again, but maybe it's not so good now. Right? Like maybe it was better to leave things the way that they were. And therein lies the problem. You can say the same about the Switch 2. At the moment, there's literally no reason to play it over the OG. I think it's the same deal, right? Like it comes down to, do you want the new games on the Switch 2? And if you do, you're gonna buy a Switch 2, right? But if not, you're not. I mean, that's a fact. Girls Frontline 2 is doing that. Yeah, and that's all I'm trying to say is like, if you're someone that really likes Girls Frontline 2, I'm not trying to like sit there and slander it. With NA Guda, is there a unit you want for the free to play account? I'm guessing Okida, but anyone else? No, I mean, and I'm dead serious when I say this. In all honesty, a pretty decent pickup would still be Whiskey Kenshin. Chat, I think, is underestimating a ruler who basically takes half damage from everybody. That is a single target looping boss killer that also buff strips. This is such a powerful combination for just dumping on a lot of annoying bosses in the game. But at the end of the day, it's not something that you have to have. It's just like, if there is a boss that's particularly annoying with their skills, rather than maybe like their break bar effects, Kenshin's gonna just actually take a dump on them, and it's hilarious. Okay, chat. Let's check the shop here and let's see. But Cad, what about our New Year saber? I honestly, I hope so. Like, I'm dead serious. I'm still kind of miffed at how little they've done saber faces. Chat, I'm dead serious. So hold on, let me find it real fast. Y'all saw this image, right? Like, I shit you not, this is literally one of like the only like saber face things. And when I say saber face, technically saber face is wrong. This is one of the only Artoria things we've gotten this year. Like, and I'm happy that it's waifu, but like, I'm kind of like, what the hell, guys? This is year 10. This is the conclusion, and you're just not doing anything with Artoria. So it's kind of like wild to me. So I'm really hopeful that we get something at the end. But okay, so let's see how well we are. I hope we get some Tamamo stuff at the end too. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it'd be nice. I kind of want. I kind of want almost like Solomon Redux, where it's like we just end up with all of the stuff again. Okay, so I have enough for some of that, but not all of that. Uh, Probably going to be the saber pieces here. I don't know that I'm going to get full clear here, but I will try to gobble as many of these as possible. Technically, I don't have a like dire need of some of the stuff, but I at least want the fires of wisdom cleared. We got to grind this for a little bit more, chat. And she can cook. Oh yeah. I mean, to be fair, the meme has always been like Artoria can't, but I guess it stands to reason that like different versions of Artoria would have different capabilities in that regard. In the same way that like Castoria can actually use magic to some degree. We've already getting near Bunton already. Yeah, he's already like really, 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 really getting used. And that's one of the reasons I have him in the back line and the support in the front line. I realized I could invert this to make this composition actually work and function. Arteria can cook. She made us a really elaborate Choco crown for V-Day. I believe, if memory serves, that the line was that she got help with that. But I do believe, like Lartoria, for instance, is denoted to have like entirely made like her own cake and stuff like that. So it has kind of already been implied that Lartoria could. Kat, did you say the Over the Same Sky Seas you went with this month on JP? Did you say which of the Over the Same Skies? I went with Lartoria. Although, do we have a second ticket? I haven't seen if that's a thing. Because that was a concern. In the Emia cooking series, Arteria makes pancakes. Yeah. Which that one, I guess you could say, is like alternate timeline. So she kind of just um like at that point it's like she actually has the time to like sit down and learn, I guess. We got one last night, but I believe just the one. Yeah, the I already used the one for Laratoria, but I don't know if there's another one. I believe that was the one that you guys are referring to. Oh, I'd love a cha-cha buff, yeah. I mean, Chex can probably make some instant food at least. Oh, yeah. Like, and I'm sure probably MHXA can make sweets because that's like her whole shtick. Like, Salter likes junk food, so she probably can't make shit. But MHXA can probably. Has Cha-Cha ever gotten a buff? Yes. Cha-Cha has. It was an all right buff for Cha-Cha, but Cha-Cha needs a lot of work, in my opinion. Hello, Ash. How's it going? Also, Saber can cook. The problem is so can Shiro, and he was better at it. I mean, I believe Saber has a line that is like, I'm familiar with British food, but when it comes to like Oriental stuff, she obviously has no training for that. So it does make a little bit of sense. Unless you start considering the whole, well, but servants are supposed to spawn with like all of their knowledge that they need to be able to like perform and succeed in the current universe and timeline and area. But let's not get into that plot hole. I kind of want to see Final Ascension Castoria make some food. Oh, she probably could. I had a question. I know it's far away, but who would you pick if you wanted these two? Altera or Arjuna Archer from the SSR ticket? From the SSR ticket. It's a little bit difficult because it still depends on like who you have, but personally, I think I'd go with Altera. Is Arjuna's battery still jank even on JP? Yes. Yes, it is. Are Tori eating Heinz baked beans? She would just eat beans on toast, chat, and it would disgust all of you. Now, here's the thing, though. When people say beans on toast, you got to understand it's like navy beans. It's not like barbecue beans on toast. So there is a different flavor profile to it. It's not something you're just going to be like, oh, yeah, this is disgusting. It definitely will not be everyone's cup of tea, but it is what it is. If you've ever eaten like bean with bacon soup, imagine like that on toast is basically a similar equivalent. If there's any cooking skills I would want it to be Emiya's because he has crazy cooking skills. I mean, you're not wrong. But you know what? I don't like what Emiya has under the hood. Under the apron, I guess you could say. I prefer a different setup. Ked, we don't peek under Emiya's apron. Is that like tugging Superman's cape? Peeking under the apron? Behind the curtain. If Chipotle refried beans wasn't as mushy, it's pretty close to the English breakfast beans. I've never I've never had Chipotle's refried beans, and that makes me not want to because that's not at all what refried beans should look or taste like. So, what the hell is Chipotle doing with the refried beans? That makes me go like, huh? The latest Superman movie was good. They actually got Big Blue right and got the character right. I liked it. I finally got around to watching it. I thought it was all right. There were things I didn't like about it, but most of the things that I didn't like about it were kind of trivial. So I didn't really have a big concern overall with the movie. And I've told you guys this before. I'm not like some super big like superhero nerd, but I did grow up as far more of like a DC fan than a Marvel fan. It was only with like the MCU that I even found out really about Marvel. Yes, he is. Chat, don't listen to him. We had a debate on Superman. He loves his super people. What do you mean? I no, like I guess what I'm trying to say is I do like superheroes, right? Like as a concept, but I'm not like some like avid comic book reader or somebody that's like an authority. I know enough. I'm not like a super fan, if that makes any sense. Hey Jude, refrain. Full detailed diatribe on it, and they loved it too. I so at first I found chat. What's the super dog's name? I can't fucking remember it. At first I found the dog super fucking annoying, but then I realized over the course of the film, I'm like, if you're gonna include him in the movie, that is how you have to do it. Like, there's no other way, Crypto, thank you. There's no other way to include Crypto in a movie if you don't like give him something to do. Otherwise, it's just like a cameo. So they kind of had to like make him narratively important, which kind of meant they kind of had to make him a little bit annoying. Oh, there we go. We get leveled up, so we got free AP for this. Ba 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 da da da. Ba da da da. Hey Jude, 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 Jude. All I remember is the cartoon for Crypto. Yeah, see, like even with regards to things like that, I don't know that I don't know like how much like DC stuff I've watched. I've watched like the original Adam West Batman. I've watched several of the Batman movies. I think I've seen some of Christopher Reeves's Superman. I've watched at least the Superman starring I think I've watched the Superman stuff before any of the Zack Snyder stuff. So that would have been Henry Cavill and the whoever was before Henry Cavill. Like I can picture the actor, but I can't think of what his name was. I really like Superman, but love the Fantastic Four. See, I've heard a lot of mixed things about the Fantastic Four movie. I've heard people like really liked it. I've also heard people that thought it was like not a good movie. So I'm not sure what to think about that other than I guess it's like again, it probably just depends on the viewer at that point. Fantastic Four is much better than Superman. See, hence why I say this. The older DC animated stuff is good. I've always heard that like DC's animation stuff has been solid. Like for instance, I've seen some of like Batman Beyond, and that was I always thought that was like a really interesting cartoon, right? Um I can't say again like that I've watched a ton of that stuff, but that's kind of what I've always heard is that DC did it better in terms of animation, whereas live action pretty much I want to say like live action after like the turn of the millennium, live action was just kind of meh for DC. Very hit or miss at times. Fantastic Four characters are just not that interesting to me. No, I mean, like, for instance, I'll give you one of the complaints I've heard about it is that, like, they basically don't use Mr. Fantastic's powers, like, at all, is what I've heard. And I don't know that that's a good thing. I've also heard that they basically subverted all of, like, Johnny Storm's character. So it's like, I can understand if people like the movie because it's interesting, but to me that puts it squarely in like Last Jedi category of like it's an interesting movie to watch. If you're one of the original fans, you might hate it because it's not like how it's supposed to be. So in that regard, I don't know. But that's just my guess because I haven't actually seen the Fantastic Four movie. I probably should sit down and watch it one day. That way I'll know what I'm talking about. I still believe The Incredibles is the best Fantastic Four movie we're ever to see. Yeah, I could see that. They hate stretchy characters. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've heard excuses for like why it wasn't a like. I do think he uses his powers. It's just not like a common thing. And I assume that like one of the reasons why is probably because like I don't know, like CGI budget or something. They probably felt that it would look uncanny. But I don't know. Like I said, chat would have to tell me if I'm even like correct on that. I freaking love The Incredibles. I've actually never seen The Incredibles. Like, I'm aware of the characters and stuff from like memes and like clips that I've seen, but I've actually never like sat down and watched it. Like, watching Disney and Pixar stuff pretty much after I went off to college is like I've seen some of it, but I can't guarantee you I've seen all of it. There's plenty of stuff I haven't seen. I miss Young Justice. I too miss Teen Titans. I need to stop taking the gold C so much. I need to take the silver C more. $20 in my pocket. The problem is Salazar there is actually like hard carrying me right now because I can't get like anybody else to appear. It's so funny that early in the event there was nobody with gold C, and now like all I see is gold C, and I'm like, please help! I need different Cs. Just turn off the gold sea, yes, and then never see anything. Yep. Yeah, this event, I will be happy when the Wandjina event is done, because then we will get to at least move on to the next one, and the next one people will roll. So like it will not be nearly as bad for craft essences, I suspect. What, Cad, stop the stream right now and go watch The Incredibles. See, this is the problem. I am already missing days for dates with you guys. And so because of that, I feel obligated to like stream every other possible day. So you guys got to let me know if you want to do like a movie night or something one night. I'm definitely down to do it. But I feel like this needs to be a coordinated thing. NA exclusive banners helped get more Wandjina event C distribution. Yeah, I think it did. I think like the Kentucky banner actually did help, which is kind of surprising. I'm more surprised that people actually did roll for Kentucky right after like Castoria Berserker, for instance. Because if you did roll Castoria Berserker, you probably don't need Kentucky. Similarly, if you are somebody that's like holding out for Lilith, you might also not need him. So, but at least she is, you know, far enough away that you could maybe justify a roll. But people, I think, just like Kentucky, so it is what it is. Oh, she's probably seen it, Bunny. I'm the one that's like the heathen in all of these things. Okay, I just put silver on both my Castorias. That's nice, but... I am randomly scrolling looking for people at this point in time. And you can see... So there's definitely people that I have even on my my new player accounts friends list that have the silver sea. They're just not showing up right now. Victoria is the greatest problem solver in recent memory. Yeah. I'll just go with Baka. I rolled for double X in P2, not Kentucky, and ended up with Kentucky in P1. Yeah. I totally feel people at this point for why the 4-star situation is such a problem. It's like, to a degree, it's not, but it is, and they do need to do something about it, at least in my opinion. Hopefully, at some point they do. Let's go with that. Still waiting for them to make another Grail front. I hope they do. I actually like the Grail fronts, and I think they will because Mr. 2 basically commented on it during the interview on his end. Apparently, Mr. 2 was the one in charge of the Grail fronts for a long time, so I suspect he will circle back and end up dealing with it. At this point, just make SR tickets more widely available. Oh, don't count on it. That's giving away free stuff. See, that's the response a player gives because the player wants free shit. That's not something the developer will do. The developer will go, no, you can't have that. And the reason why is because we don't want to give it to you. It's like, you want to roll for it? Sure. But giving it to you? No. 1 We make an alternate method to increase MP levels of 4 stars. Probably not that either. They probably just, well, unless like what you're referring to, because this is kind of like my idea would be that like they kind of do what some other games do, where there's almost like a token system, so that like as you continue to roll, you accumulate tokens and you can spend those to like get copies of the unit that you want. That's how a lot of games handle it for 5 stars as well. I don't know if that's exactly what they should do or not, but I feel like that would at least be a solution to the problem. Just maybe not the best solution. Only Salazar. We'd see Marie's reaction to the Guda chaos. Guaranteed 4-star when you're halfway to pity would be something. Yeah, I kind of agree. Cad, we already have tokens for extra copies. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Well, that guy's on my friends list too. Because you probably friend requested him like everybody else. Honestly, I'm just surprised someone like this accepted me. Hello, Master. Are the over the same sky banners worth rolling? That depends. Do you want craft essences? If not, then probably not. However, do you like Columbus? Because apparently Columbus has like a stupid rate up on that thing. He's like, I think the only 3-star or something. So people have been using it to farm like Columbus copies and Columbus coins. But that being said, I'm shocked FGO doesn't sell choice tickets like other games, but I also shouldn't be shocked. Well, they do. They're just not available for you. They're called USOs. And they're awful. They're sort of like the prototype of the ticket system that every other game that's more modern got. USOs are just terrible. And the problem is the developers would have to make a change that was not retroactive. And even then, I think the developers still fear doing that because some players are just legitimately sitting on like a horde of USOs. I'm about to just take Salazar and go in again because this is friggin' ridiculous. He's the only guy that shows up. This man must be raking in the FP. Is the next Grail front handle better than the last? Define handle. I like this one better than the BB Grail front. However, this one can be argued to at least have a potentially harder fight. Like I'll actually be really interested to see how the new player account handles it. Sorry, Chad. I have to smile. More importantly, how many Zerg slots do we get in this Grail front to let Herc monster through? I don't think everyone has a Zerg slot, but I do believe at least the last one's pretty malleable, if I remember correctly. You have to slot in two of the new units, but they are given to you for that purpose. So I had an easy solution to that, but you will definitely need a robust pair of units to handle certain things. Locking level 100. Oh, does Genshin have a USO system now? I feel like I heard about that. I'm just not getting enough of the silver, and I know that's going to be the thing that bites me in the ass. So we have all of that now. I'm just trying to even this out some so that I have a decent, robust amount. I get knocked down. Balancing this stuff is kind of weird, but it's something you probably should do. So the problem I'm having now is I kind of need to hold out for a Silver Sea. And I hate that because I don't want to just sit here wasting all of this evening just refreshing eternally. But I won't have one more day because I'm not going to be in tomorrow night, so I'm not going to get to play this. I guess I could still during my lunch break and stuff potentially do it, but so I think the rule is I'm going to give it 2 refreshes and then just pick whatever the hell shows up. New account getting silvers to burn for mana prisms already? Yeah. Because embers are pretty easy to get. My problem is not embers when it comes to leveling units. It's always ascension mats and potentially statues. But I would argue even statues have not been bad. I'm actually kind of wondering why chat over the years has complained so much about statues. Because everybody got the how should I put it? The tutorial influx. This person's not a friend yet, so may as well take them and see if I can get them friend requested. Hmm. In the hope that you would show up. Yeah, no. It's fine. Thank you for the effort. I appreciate it. But it's like, it's just the problem. Oh, I actually should have rotated. Rather than put all statue gold and silver and 90, 90 plus and plus plus, they only ever put gold in one. Yeah, I mean that's been the case for a long time, right? Like I think it's just they know and it's a problem, but everybody just kind of has to deal. If they do and you do a friend request, I'll accept it. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. So technically that would violate the rules of this account. You do have a lot of gold ones, but a shortage of silver ones. Yeah. There's nothing I can do. At least I can convert the like extra gold materials in this into QP. I just won't tell you. And thank you, Jade. Appreciate it. How you doing today, bud? Chat, can we get some love for Jade? We've been 69ing for months. Thank you. Is the easiest chance to level skill and level wise? Avengers? I think that depends. Because I'd say like ascension mats are always the most problematic thing in the game. There's definitely the argument that like early on for an account, skill gems are not easy. But I do think like that lasts for 6 months, and then after that, your alter egos, rulers, and what's the other one, chat? Moon cancers are just far and away far easier to level up. It's only Salazar. There's a John with a silver C. But I don't know if that's the John. Problem is, I don't think I can use Merlin for this. That's not me. Okay, I was gonna say it's like I don't think Merlin is what I need. We can make some exceptions if it's cool. I why are you trying to proselytize my my chat? For the tax exemptions? Oh. So he's trying to become a proper cult. Is that what we need to do, chat? Do we need to play Cult of the Lamb again? So that chat can poop all over my yard? Because I know that's like the only reason that chat liked that game. CCAD, once complete global Jification is complete, we rid the world of shit gotcha rates. You're making it sound like you guys are going to spawn JO crystals everywhere. Let's go check the shop. Where's the best place to farm night metals trying to finish Mordred's Append? Is it Camelot? I believe it is still Camelot. I'd have to double check. Type in exclamation point drops and go check the spreadsheet. But I believe it is still that. Chat with the cursed songs. Zashu. Notice how I'm favoring Lancer a little bit more than Assassin. Technically, I already have some leveled Lancers, and I don't have leveled Assassins. However, there are less Assassins in the game overall, if memory serves. So I have a tendency to favor the class that I feel like I will need more of. Kind of always been a thing for me. We're getting close. It's probably only a couple more runs. It is in fact Camelot. That's what I figured. It's like I don't think that one's ever changed because I don't think we've gotten a I don't think we've ever gotten a proper like bleached earth node or anything with it. Only salads are. I've seen people that have the Cs I want. They're just equipped to like their Scotty and not to their Castoria. Yeah, I gotta get caught up on JoJo though. Like JoJo's another show that I think I'm still somewhere in part 5. I gotta strap Andre to a chair and like just like do something to like keep his eyes open, right? Like pin his eyes back. So that way he has to sit there and watch it with me. SMH, but part 6 is in your backyard. Is it in Florida? Oh God, please. Part 5 is not that bad, but I feel like part 6 is weaker. Oh, it's has nothing to do with 5 being bad. It has everything to do, because I don't think it is either. It has everything to do with just like we were partway through watching it, that we just stopped, and we've not like gotten back together to watch it, and it's been years. Like, it is a running gag at this point between the two of us that like it's always the other person's fault. Who is this William? I need this person to friend request me. Shatner? Wait, what? Netflix kind of ruined part 6. Wait, what? I'm okay. Now I'm just catching up with what chat's saying, and I'm so confused. I was gonna say Joyline. You mean Jolene? When it comes to AoE quick assassins, who would you rather have, Huion or Kashin? I'd rather have Huion. I feel like Huion's a little bit more of your basic assassin. Kashin's not bad per se, but I feel like Huion just to me is a little bit more of the like normal stable. Names are hard. It's all good. Huion has served me well as a quick looper. Yeah, she's to me, she's the conventional sort of like quick looper. So if you've used like say like Bradamante, Brito Mart, Sin no Rikyu, you can kind of expect more of the same with like someone like Huion. Okay. Um, I think probably my biggest issue is the way that bound works specifically for um blah 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 Kashin. Sorry, I was trying to say Kenshin, and I'm like, it's not Kenshin. It's not Kenshin. And I had to like literally find the message in chat again. Uh, yeah. So it's like I think I don't particularly care for that, but I don't know. I think at the end of the day, you can make both work, and it really just comes down to personal preference. Ian has involved in Pierce too, which is nice. That is true. Come on. See, I'm of the opinion it's like there's no point sitting there refreshing eternally for something that's not going to show up. You can't escape the salad, right? I'm like low key thinking one of you is actually Saladzar, and you're just refreshing right before I finish the node. Like you're like hard bricking the account to only see you, and it's kind of hilarious. Spamming that refresh pretty much. 360 bronze apples. I guess you really exploited the hell out of master level ups. I did. It was also a case of so like usually when I get up in the mornings, chat, I will play on my phone. I will have like both my NA and my JP account spent down before I get to like work in the morning. Usually, okay. However, I will not. I will not do the like new player account. So what I will do is because usually in the mornings I have to bring my headset in here anyways. So I'll very quickly take a seat, get the emulator to refresh itself because usually I'm not at the computer by the time reset happens, so it has to like relog in. I'll get it to refresh itself, and then I will just make blue apples, and that will be enough to get me to my lunch break. Where from there I will proceed to like actually play, and that's kind of how I've been conducting myself. So I end up with like half of my AP gets spent on blue apples, half of it gets actually spent on the event. So unfortunately, it's a little bit inefficient in terms of blue apples, but it is what is allowing me to play the game still at a degree that it would be kind of expected. I wish that's what I was Saladzar, because that's what I'd be doing. Dude, you'd get so much FP off of this. Just a second, chat. I've been logging both accounts in repeatedly. It's all good. I was gonna say, timing does matter. If you can actually get it to a point where... Oh shit, I fucked up. I do. Gonna have to play it like that. And then I'll have to see if I can cheat my way into like 10% more charge for her. Oh, let's see. I'm getting good enough FP on my max 3-star C, so hey, you were right. Oh yeah, I did not take the time to like FP roll my way out of any of this stuff. And unfortunately, the new player account doesn't have the FP to roll irregardless. Okay, so that'd be enough if I had the skill maxed out, but I do not. What we're gonna do is we're gonna do that right there. That will get me the charge that I need, and now we're solid. Char, thank you for the sub. Appreciate it, my man. How you doing today? And chat, can we get some love for Char? Remember, stay alert, trust no one, keep your laser handy. True. Did you know Fate Strange Fake is releasing January 6th? I did. And I'm happy that it has a actual date. I still remain a skeptic until they actually do start syndicating it. Because it's like, fool me once. January 3rd, not January 6th. Okay. Salazar, no. It's all he's doing. It's always 16 minutes ago. He is eternal. He is inevitable. Salad God, yes. It's so funny because earlier I was like, oh, thank God this player is like constantly degen logging in. It's giving me the gold CE that I need. And it's only like now that I'm like, I just need anything other than him. But he is the only person showing up routinely. Holy crab. Is that actually the name of this? Do you like Dexter Resurrection? I still need to watch the finale for that. Because I think it was really close. I think it was on like episode like 8 or 9. Then I need to do that, and then that. I like this comp is wonky because it makes me lose my like train of thought and like where I'm at. And it doesn't help that I'm holding a conversation on the side. So I'm basically like having to come back to it and being like, wait, what order of operations do I need to continue? Because basically every targeted skill except the arts up goes on Morgan, but it has to occur all at the right time. Do we actually believe Strange Fake will release that? Yeah, that's hence my skepticism. Is like it's like fool me once, fool me twice, right? Around July or August, I think. Sorry for what now? Oh, when does Hakuno release on an A? Hakuno. Yeah, I was gonna say it should be next year because we basically get the summer event and then we get Ordeal Call 3, and Ordeal Call 3 is where you'll get them. So you're looking at like from right now, probably like 10 months ish, maybe 11. Why do I have a feeling that's my eel from chat? I swear to God, chat, if one of you actually did manage to show up, that's hilarious. Holy shit, I'll have to play OC3 again. Yeah. I mean, OC3 wasn't bad. At least I didn't think so. They're FP gacha, right? Correct. However, you will only be able to choose one of them at first. Well, actually, I guess kind of similar to like the Mecha Ellies, you will have to make a choice, and you will be stuck with that choice at least for a little bit. It's not too terribly bad. They do give you another one eventually, and you will get it a lot faster than you got the second copy of Mecha Ellie. But it is at least something where you'll have to live with the choice for probably like a month or two, if I remember correct. Hakudon sibling gets the second copy rather fast after the event is over for good. Yeah. Like I said, I think it's because they main interluded I believe it was Ordeal Call 3. So you had access to it again fairly quickly. The female has the same VA as Morgan. Pretty nice for triple servant count too, since they count like the Valkyrie assassin as different servant. Yep. Yeah, so you can take one that you pick, the exact same one on friend support, and then the alternate one of what you pick all in the same time. So you can get three. But whether or not you really even want to run that, like it's a novelty thing. It's cool that you can do it, but I don't think you necessarily need to, right? I didn't use that much, but it's fun. Oh yeah, yeah. I like I said, that's one of those. Oh god damn it, I did it again. That's one of those things where you definitely don't have to do it. It's not like hey, this is something everybody should do. It's just this is a cool proof of concept type thing. I think I'm planning the next rollout for the second account when Theseus becomes available. Yeah, like it's kind of funny because like the new player account, I'm not really like saving FP because there's still things that I need. So there's no like pressing or dire need to acquire stuff really in that regard. I'll be 10% shy otherwise, and I got bailed out literally again. Triple Arts chain do be doing work, chat. Did you get Shufu already? I do have Shufu. I have not invested in her yet, mostly because I'm a little bit more focused on some of my actual like premium supports, right? Not that Shufu's a bad one, but it's like, oh, I've got like Castoria, and it's like, well, who needs to get leveled up and focused on more? Castoria. So that's kind of what I'm facing. Plus, I again, like skill gems are the actual like issue with leveling anybody's skills right now at on this account. So It's definitely something I'm a little bit hyper fixated on for the current time. At least we're getting bells from this. Shufu will take a lot of skill gems as an alter ego too. Yeah. I think until Christmas, this account will struggle with skill gems. I think after Christmas, this account will not struggle with skill gems. And that's like even me being like kind of conservative and assuming that I don't get to like farm it as much as I'd like. I'd still think I could easily hammer out like 100 boxes or something. And that would absolutely be enough to like kill most immediate needs for things. I'm not saying I would never need a skill gem again. I'm just saying, like, it would not be a big deal. Unless you start to not be free to play, you'll be fine with 100 boxes. That will never change with this account. Not as long as I'm in control of it. Because, chat, spending on FGO on one server is a deal, right? Spending on FGO on two servers is a big deal. Spending on FGO on three servers is just like suicidal. Okay? Like, I'm not doing that. I already have a main account that I spend on. I am not spending on this one. There is basically no reason to. A new account farms their first lotto like a psychopath, and you're good forever. Yep. Either you're crazy or rich, or crazy rich. I'd say crazy doesn't even factor into it at that point because, like, you could be crazy but not rich, but you wouldn't have the money to spend, right? Like, so yeah, it's almost like you'd have to have enough money to be able to sustain three accounts. And I guess in theory I could, but I wouldn't want to. It's just redundant and I don't get anything out of it. And like the entire novelty of this account is that it is free to play. Maybe I'll do more than 100 boxes because I'm very low on FP. Yeah, the idea a lot of the time behind doing more boxes, even if maybe your account doesn't need it, is that you can get access to things like FP and stuff, and that can help you out with like Grail casting, for instance. Dorime. Chad, I better see some CAD Bless. Now imagine if these people with multiple MP5s of the same servant also play other gachas. I'm sure they do. Like, people are just psychopaths like that. I wish they gave more limited and FP gotcha so you can roll more of it to get grail casting coins. I would not terribly mind if they lowered the grail casting amount to like even 1,000 coins. Because then instead of needing like 4,000 a month, you only need like 2,000. So that would have the requirement, and it would also dramatically reduce the amount of stuff that what's the word I'm looking for here? Like the amount of like sources of FP that you needed to acquire. Oh, no. Almost pressed that. Yeah. Almost actually debated myself. 2,000 coins per grail is rough, yeah. So, like, for instance, if you want to know how much, like, how many boxes you need to do, because I have an entire video talking about this. I have an entire video breaking down with a spreadsheet of like how much FP you need to do to maintain your grail casting for every single month and never miss one. And the calculation basically like boils down to including external sources of QP from like other things that you probably need on average about 550 boxes per lotto to infinitely like grail cast. Thankfully, you have other things like FP from your friends that I don't calculate in on that. And, you know, like campaigns can, like, over time maybe give more. So there are, like, external things that I maybe wouldn't have calculated. But that's pretty rough. Most people are not going to do 1,100 boxes a year during a lotto. Okay? So, like, it's just not a thing. And so, like, when I say per year, that's assuming 2 lottos per year. You might not always have 2 lottos per year. Because again, like this last year on JP didn't have that. And this year is at least looking like it will only have one potentially. But mostly just due to how they managed the end of the year. The second account is still struggling for Caster Gold Gems, as it will. Caster Gold Gems are just going to be a pain in your butt. Yeah, there's still 33 worth there. Gonna finish that off. Go right into assassin. Why do you care so much about statues when you already have so many of them? Because I have not leveled up like any of the low star units. So this account actually could use them in the short term here. Because statues combined with ascension materials are what's going to allow me to actually ascend things. Usually ascending is not too bad on actual ascension mats. You need anywhere from like 5 to 12. So it's not a huge deal. So the big thing instead that's actually going to limit me would probably end up being the statues in the end. But at least even just having the statues, well, sorry, I say the statues, it'll be the ascension mats, but at least having the statues like well in hand will make it so I don't have to also farm that. Plus, low key, I'm actually here for multiple reasons. I'm getting bell drops, which I cannot currently farm otherwise. And I am also potentially getting caster skill gems, which Castoria does need. Say it anyway. Today's not my day to find you dying away. 400k bond isn't too bad. It can take you a bit, but yeah, it's not like the end of the world. Take me on. Impossible to try and farm 400k bond on 2. So wait, which 2? It's always caster gems. Yeah. And I've said this before, like, it's been something that I've harped on for quite a while because, like, I've had people be like, no, CAD, that's not a thing. That's, like, that used to be a thing back in the day, but it's not still a thing. Yes, it is. Caster gems for early accounts will always be the gem that is the most needed. I don't know why, other than it is basically like where all of your like initial like high octane supports are. So it's like a lot of people will start the game with a waiver. Because of that, they will need caster gems right there just based off that. Oh, did you want a Castoria? Boom, you're going to want it because of that. Did you want a Scotty? Boom, you're going to want it because of that. So it's like, there's a ton of stuff. Plus, like, even back then in the day, we had like Merlin and things like that, that players will still try to pick these units up. If they do pick up even 1 or 2 of them, they'll already be in caster gem hell. So it is kind of a funny thing to denote that even now, the game still kind of screws you in that regard. And the tutorial missions do not really give you skill gems. So it is just a problem that you run into. There's nothing you can really do about it. Plus, if you're like me and you very quickly step to quote unquote end nodes, and you're already doing like 90 and above content, it's very rare that you're going to see things like the lower skill gems in there. So the fact that this node actually can drop like blue skill gems is kind of wild to me. It's not going to be a very common occurrence, but it can occur. I finished them from the Pure Prism store twice. Really? Yeah, I have not wanted to buy skill gems out of the Pure Prism shop because to me, I'd rather focus on materials that I can't easily access. Because skill gems, I mean, you can farm those. They're not like they're not easy to farm, but they're not bad really. It just takes you sitting there on the node. So fine, I can't control my brain. Chat, unfortunately, I think this is going to be a solid grind stream. I don't think we're going to get to Metal Gear. I'm sorry. But it's the only way I'm going to get this shop farmed out. This is kind of my poor choices and decision making coming back to haunt me. I'm going to try to expedite this as much as possible. We'll be playing and having fun. Waver, Castoria, Scotty, Tamamo, Merlin. Yep. Yeah, and it's like, even if you don't pick up a bunch of those, there's still going to be various other units you're going to want to get. Plus, there are units out there like the welfare. So, like, let's say you picked up, like, Sieg, for instance, off the recent one. You'd need skill gems for him. So, casters are just sort of a commonality because out of all classes, casters have single target and AoE, but casters have by far the most support of any class in the game. So every other class that you look at will have single target and AoE. If you're lucky, it might have like one or two support characters, but only casters really have that many. And that's why you just end up needing so many of them. Plus, one of the reasons that gold caster gems in particular are bad is because a lot of the casters, particularly if they are a support, you want to take the 10-10-10. You want to take their skills to a really high level, and that is not something you normally do with a lot of other units in the game. So it becomes this sort of self-fulfilling prophecy of like, you just have to get these things because it's the only way to maximize your supportive units. Alter egos as well, yeah. Alter egos aren't going to help with that. Heck, even low star casters are really useful. Yep. You just need to struggle along, get to a lotto, and then it's a ton easier. It is. But that makes it worth because this is now a second MLB. This account continues to luck sack, so I now have 2 MLBs of the sea. I'll take this just because it's a new person. Everybody that has MLB CEs is now getting like friend requested by everybody that doesn't, and it's so hilarious to me. I went too fast. It can't handle me moving at that speed. Emulator's like, no, bro, you're clicking too quickly. Also, rulers need them too. Yeah, there's a couple like intersections, but at least like with your extra classes, it's usually not as bad because it's not one, you're not going to need as many, and two, it is something where extra classes usually still kind of are a like luxury. Yeah, just send it again. Hold on, chat. I have to look up avocado toast. Now you need curse command codes? Yeah, I'll have to look at like what command codes I need because I think command codes are going to be really essential for getting through some of Lost Belt's harder fights. I think it's going to be a super like big deal for me to be able to employ them. Hmm. Is that why I have like 12 plus ads? What? From that CE? That CE doesn't affect spawn rate. Glitch's new web series. Wait, isn't Glitch the people that did what was the one video game series? All I get is gold. Imagine back on days. I think they gave us St. Courts after finishing the story as we finished Ordeal Call 4. Wait, what? You mean like after we finished everything? Would they give us more than they're already giving? Thank you, Brian. I appreciate it. I only got one from drops. Yeah, this account's been very lucky. I don't know why, but it's gotten a ton. Like my main account I think has gotten like one or two drops. This account has gotten five somehow. I don't know how. All right, screw it. Salazar is the only person that exists in this game. Nobody else exists. Nobody else has an MLBC. It's not a thing. Fate Salazar order, right? Hey, CZ, how's it going, bud? What you up to? I'm beginning to think geographical partitioning of support lists is actually a thing. I mean, it is between like servers, certainly, but otherwise, I don't necessarily believe that it is. It's just not guaranteed to show up. Also, do you have MLB? Because I am filtered to MLB only. So if you didn't have MLB, it would not be there. Support roulette be like that sometimes. It do. I'm just giving up. I'm just taking Salazar. Could be worse. Could be buffering roulette that we used to have to deal with watching anime. Wait, what do you mean used to have to deal with? I still have that problem. I was just ranting about this the other day during like the lunchtime anime watching session, which, by the way, chat, for any of you guys that are unfamiliar, I do usually on my lunch breaks I hop into anime watching on the Discord and we watch something. There's usually a couple people there. But I was ranting about this just like the other day that we were having an issue with buffering, and it's like I don't know why they ever got rid of the like full like buffer that they used to allow. Like YouTube used to allow you to buffer the entire video, so like people would like, especially if they were on a slow connection, they would just like get up and go like do something, let the whole thing buffer, then come back, sit down and watch whatever they wanted to watch. Nowadays, a video will only buffer like 10%. It'll only go a little bit out from where you are. So if your internet connection's crap or the mirror is crap, you just can't watch anything. And it gets really freaking annoying. Hmm. I'm just thinking real quick. I've cursed Salazar too many times. Now he refuses to show up. Okay, there we go. Kevin, my savior. Big IP's at it again. Mm-hmm. If it's Maxwell's Demon tomorrow, I'm fucked. It might be. I think Maxwell's Demon is one of the best guesses at the current point in time. Do you have any predictions? Maxwell's Demon? Um I mean, like, the way it's reading, it's basically like some sort of Shinsengumi based revenge. That does make me think it's going to be like somebody Shinsengumi related. We might get one of the characters that has not been released yet. Like, for instance, chat, we still don't have Kondo Isami, who is the captain of the Shinsengumi. So, like, that's a big one. The fact that we don't have like the main like leader of the Shinsengumi still after all these years is kind of wild. So I could easily see that being a thing, but who knows? Me, I'm the next Guda Guda servant. Nice. I wonder how. I wonder what skills a Tesla penguin would have. Like, is it a Tesla like a Tesla coil, or is it a Tesla like an electric car? Do we like have to plug something into the penguin to make it like charge up so that it can slide really fast? I think Grand Assassin is probably Tez or Hassan. I think it's going to be Tez. Just because Hassan has canonically given it up. That being said, if it is Hassan, I'm not going to like eat my hat or anything. I'd just be like, okay, it is what it is. Like they went with the obvious choice, right? But canonically, he's not supposed to be it. So out of that, the only one that I think it could be is that it is Tez. So you might see like Kama or something get it, but that'd be. I feel like once you get off of like Tez or Hassan, it starts getting way more interesting as to like who it could be. Yeah, what if it's Old Man Lee and he just starts death procking us? Hmm. Oh yeah, chat. So I saw Howl's Moving Castle. I forgot I told you. I didn't tell you guys about this. I got to see my first ever Studio Ghibli movie. Which I'm sure is going to make somebody in chat scream, "What the hell, Cad? Why haven't you seen a Studio Ghibli movie before?" See, there you go. Well, what did you think? It was really good. I was actually really surprised at how good it was. Like, I was very impressed by it. Interesting choice for being your first. I think I chose well. There's a replica at Howl's Moving Castle at Ghibli Park in Nagoya. Alas, I didn't have a premium ticket, so I couldn't go inside. Did it walk around? Ghibli has a theme park now. I could see that because they have several movies that are like super big, right? And the entire reason I have not watched a Ghibli movie until now and I'm dead serious when I say this, is I think because like I was kind of under the impression that they were like super artsy fartsy type of movies. And I was very impressed with the writing and how it actually told like a coherent story, and it was really, really solid. So like I actually do think that is like legitimately one of the better movies I've ever seen. No, it's Static Chortle, I see. Okay, that's a little annoying. And there's one of her arts cards. Try Totoro or Kiki. So I can't repeat it on stream, but my friends have a like gag for what they refer to Totoro as. And every time it comes up, I have to like try super hard not to say it. I have to like actively consciously think of like the normal way to refer to that because it will get me in trouble. Totoro is proto Snorlax. Yeah, that I believe. Hmm. Do that. This will make sure that she doesn't die. And we'll just do that. Watch with the girlfriend? Probably will. Cause like we went to see House Moving Castle in movie theaters with the like the Fathom event that's going on for Studio Ghibli. So I'd have to look to see what the next one is in my area. But let me double check. Yeah, it's Ghibli Fest. So I think next one is Spirited Away. And then after that, it's The Boy and the Heron, which apparently it's the first time The Boy and the Heron's ever been in theaters over here in the States. That'll probably be bigger. Spirited Away is good. I've always heard good things about it. It's it's really funny though too, because I've also heard that it's like I hear a lot of people get like recommended it as like, oh, you want to get into anime, you should watch Spirited Away, and it's like, no, that's not indicative of like the way the rest of anime is. Like Studio Ghibli stuff is definitely different, and I can tell, but it is in the same vein as anime. Boy and the Heron is relatively new, if I remember correctly. Okay. Yeah, like is Studio Ghibli still making stuff, or are they kind of like done? I would hope to hell and back that Totoro was the second film in that double. Otherwise, you would have had trauma in the car parks afterwards. Wait, wait, why would you have trauma if Totoro was the second? I'm so confused. They're mostly defunct now at this point, I think, well as an active studio. Yeah. I Come on! They can't keep doing this. Grave of the Fireflies was the first movie, Totoro was the second. Totoro is older and more iconic. I've always heard like Spirited Away, Totoro, and Howl's Moving Castle are like those are the three that I've heard about the most. Whether or not they are like the biggest or the most impactful, that I don't know. Right? I've heard Grave of the Fireflies is really sad. We're gonna have to do it this way, and I'm gonna have to hope that that's enough to get me 10% charge. I probably should have popped her third skill. Oh, thank God. Totoro could at least serve as therapy after Grave of the Fireflies. I mean, like, even I've heard Grave of the Fireflies is like extremely morbid. But I also heard that Howl's Moving Castle is a commentary on the Iraq War. So then again, maybe I shouldn't trust what people say. Mm. Depends on how you see it. Yeah. Have you heard anything about Ponyo or Princess Mononoke? I've definitely heard I've heard of Princess Mononoke and Kiki's Delivery Service as well. I have not like I've not like heard much about them, if that makes any sense. Though to be fair, like most of the Ghibli movies I haven't heard much about. I mean, I can take a guess that Kiki's Delivery Service is about a girl named Kiki that has a delivery service. I can also take a guess that Spirited Away is about somebody who got spirited away. In the same vein that Howl's Moving Castle had something to do with a moving castle owned by Howl. But it's like, that's definitely not going to tell me the whole story, right? So it is what it is. How profound, I know. But no, I like it was good enough that it definitely made me go like, ooh, yeah, I actually want to see more of these now. So you're reaching, cat. Come on. I know. I'm sorry, chat. How dare I? How dare I read too much into it? But no, it really was. It made me like go like, oh wow, now I see why people keep reacting poorly when I tell them that I've never watched one. And to be fair, I don't really think I've had like the opportunity ever really to watch one. It's not like these are things that are gonna like come on like TV. I think there may be like one time back in the day there was like I think maybe like Toonami was playing one of the Ghibli movies, but I don't remember which one it was and if I've even seen any of it. I just like I couldn't tell you. Kiki's Delivery Service is actually about Momo's Airbnb. Okay, I see. Ponyo is basically Miyazaki's take on The Little Mermaid. Okay. Toonami did a couple of them. Yeah. Toonami aired several in one year. The Disney? Wait, really? The Disney dubs of the Ghiblis have been surprisingly consistently good. So we did watch in English. I don't know if that was a Disney dub, but like for instance, Hal was played by Christian Bale. Calcifer was played by Billy Crystal. Like it was really good. I didn't even realize it till after the fact, but I was like, oh yeah, that was their voices. Like, but yeah, it was really well done. Like I have no complaint in that regard. The name is not Zura, it's Katsura. I can't see a name like Zura without thinking of Gintama, man. Cat, if you have VPN, they're all available on Netflix in Brazil with English subtitles. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm sure, right? But who did Chris Pratt play? I don't know. There was a child, so probably one of them, because that would have been how old Chris Pratt would have been probably when that movie got dubbed. But no, I was in general really impressed by it. There's a reason for that. The contract with Disney specifically gave Miyazaki control over how they could edit and dub his films. And Miyazaki does not F around with that. He once sent a katana. Yeah, I heard about the katana event. I don't think it was necessarily like that he was directly trying to threaten them with the katana, but he was basically trying to make a metaphor of saying, like, no cuts. In other words, like, you're not cutting anything out. But granted, if you get a katana in the mail from a Japanese person and they're kind of angry at you, I would also view that as a threat. But no, I mean, like, let's be honest. Why would you cut any of the footage? Like, Miyazaki's 100% right. Ask 4 kids? No. No, don't ask 4 kids, okay? 4 kids are stupid. And to be fair, so I don't know that 4 kids necessarily cut that much, so much as they edited. Like, I know that in particular, I think it's the 4 kids edit of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is like particularly egregious, right? Where it's like they take like a dead body and they replace it with a chalk outline, and they take like a gun and they turn it into the guy just pointing his like finger at you. Finger guns, yeah. Isn't that also where the concept of the Shadow Realm comes from as well? Because it's like, oh, he can't say I'm gonna kill you. He's like, I'm gonna send you to the Shadow Realm. Google Warriors of the Wind at some point, which is the butchered version of Nausicaa, that cut out 30 minutes that explain the rest. Yeah, see, I don't know that I would want to, right? But yeah, like that seems really, really dumb and bad. There you go, the Grand Blue opening. DBZ and H fill instead of hell? Wait, what? Huh? When Marnie was there, Porco Rosso, Whispers of the Heart, and The Cat Returns are also all good Ghibli movies. That's the first time even hearing about those. So, what I suspect I'm going to have to do is I'm gonna get dragged, to these other ones in the theater, and that's fine. But I suspect that there'll be a point where like I'll end up having like a Ghibli day with her, because I was basically just talking with her about watching Star Wars, which is something that like she's seen Star Wars, but it's been like a super long time. So she knows that I like Star Wars, so she's like, "Hey, do you want to watch Star Wars?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Does a bear shit in the woods? It's like Star Wars, Lord of the Rings. Yeah, I'll always watch those. Let's start with episode 7. No, I did tell her 7, 8, and 9 are optional. I'm like, I'm not gonna make her sit through that, because I will tear those a new one while we're watching them. I will sit there and I'll just be like, so fucking stupid. Why would they do that? I'll just sit there actually complaining. Don't forget, Castle of Cagliostro is Miyazaki and Lupin. Yeah, I found out that Miyazaki actually like directed some of Lupin. I had no idea that he was involved with that. Died of a heart attack, tragically young. That's unfortunate. So director's cut of Lord of the Rings or theatrical version, Cat? There's a third option. Okay, and this is the third option is the worst way to watch it. So there is the theatrical edition, there is the director's cut, and then there is watching it fully with commercials on like TNT. It takes as long as the director's cut, but you get only the theatrical release, and everything is like broken up by like 10 minutes of commercials. It's so funny because I remember like in college, like having TNT and realizing it's like they're just using this to like pad for time. He directed 2 episodes of Lupin the Third and then the Cagliostro movie. Interesting. Just the way Peter Jackson intended, yes. My choices either salads are or randoms that do not give me what I want. And then air them out of order now. I did ask her what order she wanted to watch the Star Wars movies in, which this time she said she wanted to go chronological because I guess she watched them in release order back in college. And she's like, "Oh, I was confused." And I think that's like understandable because in a weird way, like A New Hope kind of throws some lines at you like, "Oh, you served my father in the Clone Wars and stuff." And you're like, "What the fuck are the Clone Wars?" Sounds amazing. But it's like, yeah, technically, like back when that movie was written originally, it's like none of that was fleshed out. So that was just kind of a fluff dialogue line that they threw in there to make the plot seem more interesting. But I can easily see how someone would find that confusing because, especially now that the earlier movies do exist, you'd be like, "Wait, did I need to know that?" And it's like, no, technically you didn't. I meant TNT airing stuff out of order. TNT usually aired it in order. It's just, were you around to like see it in order? Because like, did you want to sit there all day? Like, at that point, yeah, just watch the director's cut edition. So like, as to which one I prefer, I'm gonna tell you guys in all honesty, just watch the theatrical version if you're short on time and you're not sure that you're gonna like Lord of the Rings, because that is like, it is the compact, like you'll still understand most of what's going on type deal. You watch the director's cut if you want like the immersive experience. NT has to fill up a lot of time now in the NBA left. Yeah. I've avoided TNT movies after I saw the travesty they did to Demolition Man to make it TV friendly. Did Demolition Man have like nudity or anything in it? Oh, he prob did he say like the N word or something a bunch? Because it was Wesley Snipes in that movie, but nope, don't touch anything else. Not really, just language. Okay. There's like 5 seconds of cyber. Yeah, I don't remember too well, right? About the machete with a machete interlude? Yes. Everybody forgets the VR sex thing because it was absolutely stupid and awkward despite it being with Sandra Bullock at her best. It is what it is, right? Like I think there are good ways to do like sex scenes in a movie, and then there are like you said, like there's kind of like dumb ways. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I think a lot of guys don't care, and it's just like as long as the sex scene's there. But I will say, like, there's definitely like a better way to do it, and it's like you kind of want a sex scene to make sense, not like, and if you're gonna show it, it needs to kind of matter, not like, oh, you're just doing it just for the general stuff, right? Jason X was just doing Demolition Man with smashing the nitrogen frozen face. Yes. It's like trying to watch The Hangover on TV and every other thing was censored. Yeah. Like the god awful CGI dragon, even by the standards of the day in Dean Stay Night. Oh my god, another drop. What is the problem with this account, dude? Like, Jason X was too entertaining for how stupid it was. I think a lot of like horror films that go well past like the like 3 movie mark start getting like really stupid. It's your luck sink. I it's probably where all of my luck is going. Okay, so we're done with gold, of course. Oh no. No, I upgrade. No. No, I thought that was the no. 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 My world light up. Undo it. I wish. I wish so bad, dude. I mean, I don't think I converted that much. I think I converted like 130 of it, which would have been like a good amount, but it's not like, oh man, I just converted like 500 of it. Man's preemptively flexing lotto drop luck. Feels like it, right? How many boxes of Nemo Lotto will you farm on this account? That's going to depend entirely on, like, oh, it's Christmas. I'm surrounded by the family. Like, when is it happening on an A? How much free time do I actually have? Christmas lottos are usually difficult on me to actually get enough. First Christmas with a girlfriend, too? With will be, like, interesting, right? Hate taking Salazar, but I guess. I wish I bought Friday the 13th, the game. It's fun to watch. Really? Maester, have you ever played Dead by Daylight? Because I feel like that's kind of up the same alley. Do you have a moment to talk about our Lord and Savior Salazar? Not gonna lie, our Lord and Savior Salazar saved me in the beginning of the event, so I really should not be like cursing him in any way. It is just so frustrating that he is the only person that exists. I just wish someone else would exist. It's like, goddamn, man. I tried. It's not as fun. Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like for someone that's a film buff like you, you'd probably really, really like it. But I could understand if like the mechanics are not for you because it is like Dead by Daylight's kind of a jank game just from what I've seen, and I've never played it myself. Does JPF maintenance tonight? That's a good question. I actually don't know. Someone in chat would have to advise on that. I do know the live stream is tomorrow morning. So again, if you guys have not already, go give Mr. Two Love Trouble a follow. He is going to be live translating it. He was not able to stream today, unfortunately, because he had some issues. But I am sure we're going to get new stuff. CAD advising to roll. Wait, did I advise to roll? Wait, when did I get a girlfriend? I've had a girlfriend for technically like a week now. But I've been dating someone now for going on like I guess like I was talking to her first and then started dating, so it's been like a month. But things are going well. At least I think so. I will not deign to speak for the other party. What's the story requirement for Guda? That's a good question. Let me double check Avalon's post. Uh, I think maintenance happened on the 20th already, so I don't think we have maintenance, but don't quote me on that. Are little streamers growing up so fast? Hey, listen, it's not my first girlfriend. I just hope it's my last. There's an event timeline. Yeah, just Fuyuki. That's all it is. Chat, that's all you guys need to be able to do this event. Let me see who all be on tonight, though, chat. Because I have got to end it now. I see Mr. Gotcha Guru's on, so I'm going to send you guys his way. He's playing some Nikke. Again, thank you guys for hanging out with me. Again, no stream for me tomorrow. I know it's the first day of the event. I'm sorry. Similar deal. Date was scheduled before the event was actually announced. So is what it is. I am going to say I will try to like get some recording done and stuff. So I don't know that it'll be out tomorrow because I'll probably have OKS to edit it, but it should be out in a regular fashion regardless. So even if you don't get to necessarily like watch me record it live as you would normally on a Wednesday, should still be out for Thursday is what I'm going to be aiming for. So again, thank you guys. Go give Gotcha Gurus my love. Have a great night. I will see you guys Thursday. Good luck with Guda Guda and have a good one.